Let's see here. All right. You guys, we're always working out the fucking bugs. Always working out the bugs in this. I've already started. But hey, so it's a new week. It's Friday. It's time for What the Nuts. Welcome to What the Nuts, the podcast that explores the strange and mysterious side of the world. I'm your host, Blue Collar Joe. And each week, we're going to discuss a different, bizarre, or unusual thing that has happened in the world. Whether it be a ghostly encounter or some kind of weird sighting or something that could be a ghost or a psychic phenomena. We'll be taking a deep dive into the strange and unusual stories that happen all around the world. This week we're talking about the Rendlesham Forest incident. It happened. There we go. All right. Let's see. Do this, do that, do that. There we go. All right, that way I've got chat in front of me. I had to bring chat up in front of me here so that I can make eye contact with y'all while I'm reading my notes. I got a shit ton this time. This time I'm not unprepared at all. All right. I was kind of hoping that I'd have a special guest tonight, but nobody seems to want to see what's happening tonight. Because I keep everything close to the vest when I'm talking to individuals who want to come on the show, because I want to get their if they haven't heard of something or if they've heard of it, I want to get their honest reaction per se, So let's see. I should have checked that before. But anyhow. All right, let's do this. Why don't we go ahead and we'll go ahead and open the show. We'll open the show. We'll go from there. All right. The following program is rated TV-MA. What you are about to watch contains explicit language, adult themes, violence, and may not be suitable for viewers under 18. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. Give me a second and make me a fresh drink. Real quick. Take me a second. Let's do this. Throw that in there. And what we're drinking tonight, you guys, is a mint julep, but it's a mint julep. Let me bring this over here. Shit, while I'm fucking working here, trying to work here. So, it's a mint julep. It's like a regular mint julep, basically. But instead of bourbon, I use Irish whiskey because I like the flavor better. It's a lot sweeter. It tastes better. But, you know, that's preference. That's preference. Ooh. Excuse me. Get this ice popping off here. And then we'll jump into the Rendlesham Forest incident. And I think that's going to be fun. Because it's something that happened in England in the 1980s. And it just goes to show you that there's not just cover-ups here in the U.S., there's cover-ups all over the country. I mean, all over the world, excuse me. So, all right. So, now that I've got my mint julep fixed, yeah, give it a little stir. Got to give it a little stir. Oh, you know what? I forgot to turn on one of my fucking lights. You can see my dirty ass clothes because I just got off work. All right, let's do this. Let's do this. All right, I'm going to read this a little bit, and then I'm going to kind of get my take on it, I would say. And then I'm going to play some of the audio, okay? Now, there's 18 minutes of audio in this recording when they did the investigation. They recorded most of the investigation, and I listened to it already one time. I might run the entire recording. There's nothing that says I can't run the entire recording, and this is for educational purposes, entertainment purposes, whatever. So, and that had the full recording, and I'm kind of going to refer to his diagnostic of it, his maybe not the right word I'm looking for, however, his synopsis of it. That would probably be a better word. So the gentleman, I'll give him credit. I'll give him credit for it. Like I said, it was a while ago. He did an initial. Let's see. Let me fucking pull it up, cause let's see here. Sorry, I was kind of. Oh, you know what? He's in my papers. I have notes. Where's the notes? Where's the notes? He should be somewhere right here. Ian Ridpath. Ian Ridpath is the gentleman that his blog is what I'm referring to. So he has the entire. You can go to his website. I believe that's what it was. Let me check his website. Yeah. So it's the Rendlesham Forest UFO case. He has transcribed the tape of the investigation, the original investigation. There have been, just so you know, there have been multiple investigations since. There was a rather large one in the early 2000s, I want to say. I don't remember offhand. But let's get started. Let's jump into this. I'm gonna give you kind of like a short synopsis of the actual what happened in that night, that particular evening, when this security force, the American and English security force, they were patrolling around this base in the Rendlesham Forest. Okay. So the Rendlesham Forest incident is a famous UFO sighting that occurred at the Bentwaters Woodbridge military base in Suffolk, England. The incident involved a sighting of strange lights by several U.S. Air Force personnel, and has since been the subject of numerous investigations and debates. So there's people on both sides that say, ooh, this is like perfect evidence that there are UFOs out there, right? And then there's people on the other side that say, this is poppycock. You can't believe this. This is bull. You have lost your damn mind. So, like I'd mentioned, it was in the 1980s. So on the night of December 26th, it was right after Christmas, 1980, a security patrol near the east gate of the RAF Woodbridge observed lights descending into the nearby forest. Upon investigating, they saw a metallic object with colored lights that appeared to move through the trees. The animals on nearby farms reportedly went into a frenzy. The police were called to the scene, only saw lights from the Orford Ness Lighthouse miles away on the coast. That's interesting. So that means that that law enforcement in England didn't see anything but the lights from the lighthouse. All right. So let's see here. The next morning, servicemen found 3 small impressions on the ground in a triangular pattern, along with burn marks and broken branches on nearby trees. On December 28th, the deputy base commander, Lieutenant Colonel Charles Holt, visited the site with several servicemen and recorded the events. On a microcassette recorder, they detected low levels of radiation in the triangle of depression and a similar burst over half a mile away from the landing site. They also saw star-like lights in the sky, which astronomers have explained as bright stars. So this this audio recording that I have, let's go ahead and jump into some of it. We'll play a few minutes here and a few minutes there, and then it's like at the beginning, I don't have the transcript up, but in the beginning you're gonna find it hard to follow. So we'll play a few minutes. We'll play a minute or two, and we'll see. We'll see what we can glean from it. So they're talking about the indentations that they found in the ground. Oh shit. This is fucking bad. I'm sorry. You guys are not listening to what I'm listening to. My bad. Okay, I got it fixed now. I just realized that I haven't been playing the audio. Let's go ahead and start over. That way you can understand what's going on. We were only a minute and 30 in. So let's do this.
150 feet or more from the initial, I should say, suspected impact point. Having a little difficulty, we can't get the light all to work. It seems to be some kind of mechanical problem. I'm going to send back, get another light on. Meantime, we're going to take some readings for the gather cutter and chase around here a little bit, waiting for another light on to come back in. Still hanging up? Yes. That's mark 1 and 5 to 5 number. Okay, we're now approaching area within about 25-30 feet. What kind of readings are we getting? Anything? Just minor clicks. Minor clicks. What are the impressions? There's more. Is that a little bigger they are? Well, there's one more well to security control. We're still getting clicks. Can we read that on the scale? Yes, sir. We're now on the 5/10 scale, and we're reading about third, fourth increment. Okay, we're still comfortably safe here. You don't have a light on, full gas ready. Security. Okay, you have them started. There's still minor readings. The second with gas delineation. Security. This one's good. Let's go to the third one over here. Yes, now I'm getting some residual. I can read down. The meter's definitely giving a little pulse. Okay, so I was going to say, let's go to the center of the area next and see what kind of reading we get out there. You're reading the clicks. I can't hear the clicks. Yes, sir. Not about the center, Bruce? Yes. Okay, let's go to the center. Yes, I get it. That's the best deflection needle I've seen.
Okay, so you hear there, they're talking about clicks. They're talking about can you hear, and he's talking about specific spots on the landing zone. Like, and later on in the audio, they pinpoint. Okay, so this is area 1. This is area 2. This is section whatever. So, with that being said, this investigation right here, they hadn't released this. I don't have the date on when they finally released this, but let's stop right there at the 2-minute mark. We'll stop right there, and then I'm gonna go ahead and read the rest of this to you guys real quick, and then we'll get more into what Ian had said about the recording, because I thought the recording was, of them doing their investigation was quite interesting, because you don't hear people's notes on investigating certain phenomena. A lot of that stuff is not widely available. So, all right, let me finish. Sergeant Jim Penniston later claimed that two have encountered a craft of unknown origin while in the forest, but there was no corroborating evidence from other witnesses. So this guy was probably trying to jump on the bandwagon and say, yeah, man, I saw this, but it didn't really happen. The incident remains a topic of debate and speculation among UFO enthusiasts, skeptics, and researchers. The incident has been the subject of controversy and debate, with some believing it to be evidence of extraterrestrial visitation, while others suggest that it was simply a case of misidentification or hoax. Now, we get into the release of the halt tapes. That's what I played for you already a little bit, is the halt tapes. So the release of the halt tapes, which chronicle the investigation in real time. So we're getting it's only 18 minutes. So I don't know if they were out there and that's how long the video or the audio recorder lasted, because I can speak from experience at that time, running a audio recorder off of batteries out in the field didn't last long. The batteries would die. You'd have to have multiple sets of brand new batteries to keep recording continuously for hours. Um, at at that time, 1980, technology wasn't that advanced. You know, there wasn't really rechargeable batteries were around, but they were fucking super expensive. Like they were like a week's pay at that time. So I wouldn't see them having a bunch of batteries, a bunch of brand new packs of batteries. All right, so the release of the halt tapes, which we listened to a little bit, which chronicles the investigation in real time and the original witness statements made by those involved, have both added to the debate. And so in 2010, retired Colonel Charles Halt signed a notarized affidavit stating his belief that the event was extraterrestrial and the facts and had been covered by both UK and US. Oh, both been covered up. Excuse me. However, contradictions between the affidavit and the facts recorded at the time of Halt's memo and tape recording have been pointed out. So, there have been discrepancies. But you kind of got to understand, like, that was 2010? 1980, his memory of the event would have been a lot clearer. And in 2010, they might have embellished a little bit. I don't know. I don't know what the affidavit said. I tried to find it. I couldn't. So, Base Commander Colonel Ted Conrad has also provided a statement about the incident, stating that he saw nothing resembling Halt's description and suggesting that the entire incident might have been a hoax. Conrad also disputed the testimony of Sergeant Jim Peniston, who claimed to have touched an alien spacecraft. Despite the ongoing controversy, the Rendlesham Forest incident remains one of the most famous and widely discussed UFO sightings in history. All right. Let's do this. Here we go. So, skeptics pose that the incident may have been a hoax or due to a combination of factors such as a fireball in the sky, rabbit digging, and atmospheric and optical effects. The flashing light seen by witnesses in the forest was determined to be the Orfordness Lighthouse, and the star-like objects were likely bright stars distorted by atmospheric and optical effects. Scientific skeptic author Brian Dunning evaluated the original eyewitness reports and audio recordings and concluded that all reported evidence had a rational and unremarkable explanation. He suggested that the story of a cover-up and debriefing was likely a dramatic invention for television. Wow. So, I have listened to the entire recording, and we'll listen to the entire recording throughout the podcast. We're gonna try and cover all 18 minutes of it. So I did hear. What's his name? What's his rank? Halt. Whatever Halt's rank is. I'm sorry. I'm not remembering right off the bat. But I think it's Lieutenant. Lieutenant Halt. Yeah, Lieutenant Halt. Okay, so Lieutenant Halt says to the other men that are with him, "Hey, be careful. We're trouncing through where the impressions are." So this other gentleman at the field, what's his name? Conrad? Could be that he went out there afterwards, right? He went out there after everybody was like, "Hey, we're done with our investigation," and then he went out there and saw that everything was trampled. Like at that time they didn't have forensic knowledge. You know what I mean? Like you can't walk on a crime scene, that kind of shit. Okay, so okay. One theory suggests that the incident was caused by a UAP, an unidentified atmospheric phenomena, of unknown origin, which might have caused parts of the case. However, Jenny Randles, who first reported the case in 1981 and co-authored the first book on the case in 1984, has expressed doubts that the incident was caused by extraterrestrial visitors. She should, She suggested that the main focus of the events was a series of misperceptions of everyday things encountered in less than everyday circumstances. Okay, so now it's like it's starting to pile up. Like, hey, there's more people that's saying you're fucking cracked out, dude. In 2005, the Forestry Commission used lottery proceeds to create a trail into Rendlesham Forest, and it was nicknamed the U.S. UFO Trail due to public interest. In 2014, the Forestry Service commissioned an artist to create a work which has been installed at the end of the trail. The artist states the piece is modeled on sketches that purportedly represented some version of the UFO claimed to have been seen at Rendlesham. In December 2018, a British UFO researcher, David Clark, reported a claim that the incident was a setup by the SAS as a revenge plot on the USAF. However, Clark's investigation concluded that the story was itself a hoax. All right. So, that's the get down all the way up until now. Now, in 2023, I'm taking another dive into the Rendlesham Forest and see the incident. We might take a look at the Roswell, because this is supposed to be the Roswell of England. All right. So let's jump right back into this shit. So here's the analysis by Ian Ridpath. Okay. Let me skim over this and try and give you a synopsis. Okay. All right, Lil. While I'm trying to catch up with the recording, we're gonna go ahead and play some of the recording. We're gonna play some of the recording, and I'll as I'm reading this, we'll listen to the recording, and then I'll pause the recording, and I'll touch on some of the points. If I hear something that I did want to talk about, we'll pause there too.
Yeah. Okay, can you give me an estimation? We're on the .5 scale. We're getting at approximately 0125 hours. We're getting right at a half of the middle right now. Last point. I haven't seen it go any higher. Let's go far right. Okay, we'll go out toward the. Now it's picking up. This is out toward the number one indentation where we first got the strongest reading. And it's similar to what we got in the center. Not in a pod. This may be in the center. This looks like an area here possibly. It could be a blast. It's in the center. It's hard to tell. You gotta take this. My finger's about to freeze. Here too. Up to what? 7. What? Just jumped up to 7/10 there. 7/10 right there in the center? Uh-huh. We found a small blast. What looks like a blasted or scrubbed up area here. We're getting very positive readings. Let's see, is that here the center? Yes, it is. This is what we're assuming.
Okay, so they're talking about these marks on the trees, in the clearing, like the trees that are on the outside. And they're saying that there's a 0.07 jump, which is there's some radiation, but not enough to hurt anybody. So let's continue.
Dead center. Just picking up more as you go along the whole area here now. Up to 7/10 or 7 units. Let's call it on the .5 scale. Okay, why don't we do this? Why don't we make a sweep? Here, I've got my gloves on now. Let's make a sweep out around the whole area, about 10 foot out, and make a perimeter run around it. Starting right back here at the corner. Back at the same first corner where we came in. Let's go right back here. Don't let it depend upon you counting the clicks. Right. Okay, let's start it. Yes, it gets louder. Then I can put the light on it and sweep around it.
So keep in mind, they're doing this in the dark. They're doing this after the sun goes down. So they're kind of like basically stumbling around with flashlights, trying not to. So that's the first thing. And they're talking about, they're going to be talking about here about they're doing a sweep around the area. So they're going to cover the whole area where this object had landed.
It was flat. Put it on the ground every once in a while.
So he's saying right there, he's saying that, hey, you're not getting any readings. Well, why don't you set the machine, the Geiger counter, on the ground so that you can get a reading from the ground or get it as close to the ground as possible?
This looks like an abrasion on the. Okay, we'll catch that on the way back. Let's go around. One right, hit it there. I got the interest right over here. It looks like an abrasion pointing into the center. It is. It may be old though. There's some sap marks or something on it. Let's go on back around.
So right there, Halt says, "Hold on, that doesn't look new. That looks old. That looks like something that's happened a while ago." If you've ever cut down a tree, like sap doesn't come out right away, right? Sap is kind of like the neosporin for the tree, or like the like if you get a cut, it starts coagulating, right? That's what sap is. It kind of fixes the tree a little bit, right? So you got him. He looks at the tree and one guy goes, "Hey, look at this," and he goes, "Yeah, that looks old." That's kind of weird.
Alright, so it gives some extension. Yeah, this is an awkward thing to use, isn't it? Oh, let me see, I carried on my ears, but this one broke. When we get any further, I'm gonna shut the recorder off till we find something. Picking up?
All right, so right there he says, "I'm gonna shut the recorder off." See, that's what I was saying earlier. Is he was knowing that his battery was probably going dead, and he wanted to make sure that he made enough notes on the recording so that when he made his uh, report on paper, that he would have enough information from the recording to finish that paper report.
What are we up to? We're up to 2-3 units. Deflection, you're getting in close to one pod. Picking up something. Picking up. Okay, it's still not going above 3 or 4 units. Picking up more though. More frequent. Yes, you're staying steady up around 2 to 3 to 4 units now. Yeah. One of these trees that face into the blast, what we assume is a landing site, all having a abrasion facing in the same direction towards the center. That's interesting. Let's go this way around the circle here. Turn it back down here. Pick up collection. Let me see that. Well, that's kind of funny. You're right about the abrasion. I've never seen a tree that's, never seen a pine tree that's been damaged react that fast. I got a bottle to put that in. Yeah, you got a sample bottle? Just for the soil. Here's some of the, stick this on the ground. Okay, from now on, let's identify that as point number 1. That stake there.
Okay, here's the beginning of him saying, "Okay, look, that one we're that way I can refer to it in my report as point 1, point 2, point 3, and so on."
So you all know where it is with the sketch. You got that, Sergeant Nevels? Yes, sir. Okay. Closest to the Woodbridge base. Be point 1. Be point 1. And let's go clockwise from there. Point 2. Point 2? So this tree is between point 2. And 2 other personnel requesting you randomly at your location. Tell them negative at this time. We'll tell them when they can come out here. We don't want them out here right now. Okay, the sample, you're going to mark this sample number 1. Yes. Have them cut it off and include some of that sap and all. Is between indentation 2 and 3 on a pine tree about 5 feet away, about 3.5 feet off the ground.
All right, so we're hearing a lot about these samples right now.
3.5 inches in diameter. It looks like it might be old, but strange as a crystalline pine sap has come out that fast.
So Ian points out in his notes, I was looking at his notes, Ian points out that these trees let's see here. So the samples, the trees were indeed cut down not long after the event for commercial sale as timber. So that area was being marked by like I know, like here in the States they use like ribbon or something like that, like plastic ribbon. They put a plastic ribbon, they hang it down so that when the when they come to cut the trees, the person that said, "Oh, this one's ready, that one's ready, that one's ready, that one's ready," they send the team of lumberjacks there, and then the lumberjacks cut everything down that has a flag on it, and the ones that are not, they leave. So I don't know if that's how they did it back then, and all right. Let's continue. We're running short on time, so we're gonna kind of rush through this as fast as we can here.
See those other trees here that are damaged in similar fashion? Yes, so off towards Saturday landings. Okay, why don't you take a picture of that and remember your picture, and you gotta be writing this down. It's gonna be on the tape. Got a tape measure with you? This is the picture. Your first picture will be at the first tree. The one between Mark 2 and 3. Meantime, I'm gonna look at a couple of these trees over here. We are getting some. You're getting readings on the tree you're taking samples from on the side facing the suspected landing site. 4 clicks max. Up to 4. Interesting. That's right where you're taking the sample now. 4. That's the strongest point on the tree? Yes, sir. If you come to the back, there's no clicks whatsoever. No clicks at all on the back. It's all on the side facing the... Interesting. The indentations look like something twisted as it got, as it sat down on them. Looks like someone took something and sat it down and twisted it from side to side. Very strange. We're looking at the same tree we took the sample off with this, what do you call it, star scope?
So it sounds to me like...
Reflection off the tree about 3 to 4 feet off the ground.
My bad.
Yes, where the same spot is.
So it sounds to me like he's stopped the recording multiple times, and I'm looking at the photograph that is referenced in his notes, and it shows 3 stakes in like a triangular pattern. The photo is not in good shape, so let's see. Let's go back. All right. Let's do that. All right, let's continue.
Same place from the spot as we're getting a heat. There's a spot on the tree directly behind us. I picked up the same thing. One off to your right. Look at 3 trees in the area, immediately adjacent to the site, within 10 feet of the suspected landing site. We're picking up heat reflection off the trees. Like 5 and what's that again? Well, shine a light on again, Bob. Well, you have trouble hitting it. Yeah. Get right on the spot, and then when you want them to turn the light on, you'll notice the white. Hey. You're right. There's a white streak on the tree. Indicates, let me turn around and look at this tree over here now. Just a second. White streak right on the tree. I can see it. Wait a minute. Give me a little side lighting so I can find the tree. Okay. Off. I lost the tree. Okay, stop. Light off. Hey, this is eerie. Why don't you do the hot spot? This is strange. Here, someone want to look at the spots in the ground? Whoops, what you want to do? We're walking all over the place, sir. Okay.
So right there, it sounds like we hear the person that was calling to come out over the radio. And it sounds like they just arrived in the Jeep, and they're honking to let everybody know that they're there.
Let's step back, not walk all over him. Come back here, somebody put a beam on him. But you're going to have to be back 10, 15 feet. You see it? Okay, fine. Okay, lights off.
He took this long to document.
What do you think about the spot? Yeah.
Okay, so that, I don't know what that was. From the notes, I was just reading that was just somebody who did a voiceover over the original recording. Okay, so So they're using right now. I guess what you're hearing is they're using a night vision scope to look at these trees.
We call spot number 3. Let's go to the back corner and get spot number 1. Spot number 1. Here's spot number 1 right here. Spot number 1 right here. You need some light? There it is right there. You focused? Okay. Looking out spot number 1 through the starlight scope.
Okay, so the starlight scope is not. It doesn't magnify. All it does is it's a night vision scope. So whatever light that is out there, that it intensifies that light, and it makes everything look brighter. So when you see a night vision picture, it makes everything stand out as the light is bouncing off of objects. So like if the light is coming from this direction, all the objects are going to be lit up from that side, and that's all you're going to see. The rest of it's all going to be dark. Let's go from there.
Slight increase in light as I go over. Slight increase in light at spot number 1. Let's go look at spot number 2. Spot number 2 is right over here. Right here. See it? Okay, get focused on it. Tell me when. Okay. Lights out. Let's see what we get on in. Slight increase. Just a slight increase? Let's try to center. The center spot. Well, it really is the center. It's slightly off center. It's right there. Right here. More. Okay. I'm going to get your reading on it right there. Okay. Tell me when you're ready. Ready. Okay, lights out. This is the center spot we're looking at now. Almost the center.
So what they're doing is they're cutting the flashlight on and off so that the individual wearing the what is it called, the starlight scope, so the individual wearing the starlight scope can get orientated, like with what he's saying to look at. So like he's saying, look at that tree over there. And the person goes and looks at that tree and says, I don't see nothing any different. He goes, look at that tree over there. And he points the light at it, and then he turns the light off. That's what they're doing right now, basically. That's what you hear.
Slight increase there. This is slightly off center toward the 1-2 side. It's some type of abrasion or something in the ground where the pine needles are all pushed back more. We get a high reading about deflection of 2 to 3, maybe 4, depending on the point on it. Want to check it? Yes. You said there's a positive after effect? Yes, there is definitely. That's on the center spot. There is an after effect. What does that mean? It means when the lights are turned off, once we are focused in and allow time for the eyes to adjust, we are getting an indication of a heat source coming out of that center spot, which will show up on a heat or some form of energy. It's hard to heat at this stage of the game. And it is looking directly overhead. One can see an opening in the trees, plus some freshly broken pine branches on the ground underneath. Looks like someone came off about 15 to 20 feet up. Some small branches about an inch or less in diameter. 0148, we're hearing very strange sounds out of the farmer's barnyard animal.
All right, so if you notice there, they're saying what time they're out there. Okay, he said 0148. That's an hour, 1:48 a.m. in the morning. So it is dark. Like I said, these guys are probably stumbling around in the dark with flashlights. They're using this this night vision that they got, starlight scope, to see where they're going. It doesn't sound like everybody has one. So it sounds like they're, at this point, they're just using it as an investigation tool. Let's see here. This guy, Chris, He says, I was also out there the night of the recording. I took photographs. They were crap, just an occasional spot of light in the dark, in the black, in the spot of light in a black background. I would say that the lighthouse is a very obvious source of the light. So, in other words, this guy, he was out there and he is obviously a non believer in UFOs. Now, I've seen enough strange stuff, I would say. Enough strange things going on in the different places that I've been that I would have to say that with the universe being as big as it is, being another Earth or another planet that supports life is preposterous. If you fucking think that we're the only life in the entire universe, you're the fucking lunatic, because anything is possible. So, all right, we got 5 minutes left. We're going to run over a little bit on this podcast tonight. We're going to go ahead and let it go. I'm going to jump in here whenever I hear something that needs to be clarified, because I did read the transcript, and it did kind of make a little more sense when you read it along with the recording.
Very, very active, making an awful lot of noise. You're having a pigmentation. You just saw a light there. Wait, where? Right in this position here, straight ahead, in between the tree. There it is again. Watch, straight ahead off my flashlight there. There it is. Hey, I see it too. What is it? We don't know, sir. So can I get some of it? Yeah, it's a strange, small red light. Looks to be out maybe a quarter to half mile, maybe further out. I'm going to switch off. The light is gone now. It was approximately 120 degrees from the site. Is it back again? Yes, sir. Oh, that's the flashlight set. Let's move out to the edge of the clearing so I can get a better look at it. See if you can get the star scope on it. The light's still there, and all the barnyard animals have gotten quiet now. Yeah, we're heading about 110 to 120 degrees from the site out through to the clearing now. Still getting a reading on the meter. About 2 clicks. 3 to 4 clicks, getting stronger. Now it's stopped. Now it's coming up. Hold on, there we go. It's about approximately 4 foot off the ground. It comes to set to 110 degrees. All right, I just turned the meter off. Gotta say that again. About 4 feet off the ground, about 110 degrees, getting a reading of about 4 clicks. Yes, sir. Yeah, but excuse me. No, it's dying. No, it's not. I think it's something other than the ground. I think it's something variable here. Tree right over. We just frightened the first night bird we've seen. We're about 150 or 200 yards from the site. Everything else is just deathly calm. There's no doubt about it. There's some type of strange flashing red light ahead. It's yellow. I saw a yellow tinge in it too. Weird. It appears to be maybe moving a little bit this way. It's brighter than it has been. Yellow. It's coming this way. It is definitely coming this way. Pieces of it are shooting off. This is weird. To the left. Yeah, definitely moving off. Two lights. One light to the front, okay. One light to the left. Keep the flashlights off. There's something very, very strange. Keep the headset on. See if it gets any stronger. Okay. Give us a rundown. Notation that this is on a beta reading, too. It's on a beta reading? Beta still has been removed. Okay. Pieces are falling off it again. But it just moved to the right. Yeah. Off to the right. Strange. Oh, what are you left? Let's approach to the edge of the woods up there. Can you want to do without lights? Let's do it carefully. Come on.
So now they're talking about walking around without lights again, and that's what makes me think that that no matter what they were doing that night, walking around at night in the dark with no lights on, you could trample some evidence, and then you've damaged evidence that could definitely prove in your theory. Let's continue.
Okay, we're looking at the thing. We're probably about 200 to 300 yards away. It looks like an eye winking at you. It's still moving from side to side. And when you put the star scope on it, it sort of has a hollow center, a dark center. It's like the pupil of an eye looking at you and winking. And the flash is so bright through the star scope that it almost burns your eye. We passed the farmer's house and across in the next field. Now we have multiple sightings of up to 5 lights with a similar shape and all, but they seem to be steady now rather than a pulsating or glow with a red flash. We just crossed the...
He's now I've been in places in the dark, wooded areas, and even non-wooded areas, and these flashes of red lights, it kind of makes me want to say that it's some kind of animal. He said it's 4 feet off the ground. Well, that would be approximately the height of, say, a wolf, one like that. Maybe a wolf is a little bit, but his estimation of 4 feet, that kind of makes me think of some kind of animal that might be in the woods, and only seeing one eye. I don't, or he says 6. Said, oh, there's 6 of them now. It's like, is there 3 different people or animals out there that you see the glare off of his eye?
Click. And we're getting what kind of readings now? Getting through 3 good clicks on the meter, and we're seeing strange lights in the sky.
Strange lights in the sky.
Farmer's field, and made sighting again about 110 degrees. This looks like it's clear out to the coast. It's right on the horizon. Moves about a bit and flashes from time to time. Still steady or red in color. Also, after negative readings in the center of the field, we're picking up slight readings, 4 or 5 clicks now on the meter. 305. We see strange strobe-like flashes to the rather sporadic, but there's definitely something, some kind of phenomenon. 305 at about 10 degrees horizon directly north. We've got 2 strange objects, half moon shape.
Okay, so now it's 3 o'clock in the morning. He's actually been out there for like another 2 hours, and they haven't really found anything. He's talking about these lights out here and whatnot. It kind of, I don't know, it kind of makes me think that, and most of it supports what I deduced in my original article in 1985. This is his conclusion. This is what Ian said at the conclusion. He said, this may be why certain believers have regarded the tape as either an outright fake or at least edited to give this certain impression, even though Halt has always maintained the tape is exactly as he recorded it. No, because there's a spot on there where his daughter started to record over it, playing the piano. In my view, now this is Ian talking, Halt was at the time guilty of nothing more serious than human error. Since the story became public, Halt has continued to establish it with the encouragement of the uncritical media and UFO followers. That is why it is so important to go back to the original tape to see what really happened. So in my opinion, I have to agree with Ian here. Like, okay, for example, I pulled up the Suffolk Constabulary, okay, and their report Their report, okay? So let's see here. So they sent a cover letter. It said, Dear Sir, sighting of unusual lights in the sky at Woodbridge on December 26, 1980. With reference to your letter dated November 3rd, 1983, which related to the above mentioned incident, police knowledge of this matter is limited to a telephone report of an alleged incident timed at 4:11 a.m. on November 26 December and received from a person at RAF Bentwaters, together with the 2 subsequent visits to the location by police officers. The first visit followed immediately the report incident, and the 2 officers who attended made a search of the area with a negative result. A note on the log indicates that the air traffic control at West Drayton were contacted and that there was no known knowledge of aircraft in the area to report received of aerial phenomena over southern England during that night. The only lights visible to the officers visiting the incident were from the Orford Lighthouse. A further report was received at 10:30 a.m. on 26 December of 1980 from a staff member at RAF indicating that a place had been found where a craft or some sort could have landed. An officer attended, and the area involved did bear 3 marks of a undetermined pattern. The marks were apparently of no depth, and the officer attending thought they could have been made by an animal. It is considered little more would be gained by you making direct contact with the officers involved, as the above information constitutes the sum of their knowledge in relation to this matter. It is hoped the information supplied will be of assistance to you in formulating your intended account of circumstances. So that's their cover letter, and basically the rest of it basically coincides with what they said in that first part of the letter. It's like, hey, we've given you this stuff, and here's the synopsis of what's going on in our report. But here's the report, so don't you think that you're going to get away with any kind of bullshit. So here you go. So Ian's view coincides with my view. Halt was at the time guilty of nothing more serious than human error. Since the story became public, Halt has continued to establish okay, that's fucking funny. Anyways, that is why it is important to go back to the original tape. See, that's the thing, bro. There's like way too many fucking breaks in that shit. It's like he cuts it on. He goes, 300, blah, 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 blah. And then he cuts it off. And he cuts it back on and he goes, at 0330, blah, 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 blah. If you read the transcript, that's what is happening. There's no long pause. There's no 15 minutes of dead air of him not saying anything. There's no any of that. So it makes it look like he's trying to hide something. But anyhow, I want to thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for putting up with me for this hour and 20 minutes. I appreciate you, everyone who came by, and fucking I hope to see you again next week. Next week, I'm not sure what we're going to talk about. We might talk about the Roswell. Let's look into the Roswell deal, and we'll see how that goes. But right now, okay, we are calling it a night. And I'm gone like a fart in the wind. Whoops. Okay. I think this is the one I want.
You've been looking for me, bitch. Here I go. I heard you've been looking for me, bitch. Here I go. I hear that you're looking for me, bitch. Here I go.